Good evening, everyone. Today I wanted to share another video that was recorded in Singapore. The topic is about validation. So many people are struggling with this, to get validation from the outside world versus getting validation from inside. But in this video, I wanted to share some tips that may be helpful for anyone who's struggling with trying to get validation and how to validate oneself. Now that's an amazing question. Yeah, I think when it comes to validation, what is so common is that people will seek it from outside. And we're used to this, where it's like we will try to get praise from other people. How did I do? What do you think of this? What do you think of this work? We get it through social media. We get it through the real life interaction. But if the question is, well, if I don't want to do that, what is another option? And I would say then try to develop a system that you can check yourself. Meaning, two steps. One is first, come back to your intention. When you're really doing something, see, why am I doing this? Really, what is it for? Okay, you're gonna start writing a new book. Okay, what is it for? And then if you can get clear on the intention, and I think that is a very first step of, well, I want to write this book because I was struggling with this topic. And my hope and my intention is that by writing this book, it can be a tool and a resource that can help someone who is suffering the same way that I was suffering. And what I hope comes out of it is that they can use this wisdom, they can use this tool and change their life. And I wish I had this kind of information when I was suffering so that this person doesn't have to go through all that. Is that your intention? And if it is, then now solidify this. And then the second part is then do the action. And then do the action as best as you can. As of this moment, with your wisdom, with the amount of time you have, with the amount of resource you have, with your current skill set, then write it. Then I would say, then you have to ask yourself the follow-up question, the second question, which is, did I do my best? And if you can be clear on your intention, and if your answer is, you know what, as of right now, I wrote this book, I wrote this chapter, I wrote this article, I did this research, I made this video, I gave this teaching as best as I can with what I have, and it really was for that intention. Then feel proud of yourself and ask yourself, keep that game for you. Okay, again, what was my intention? And did I do my best? And each time, if you can answer yourself, yes, then you better celebrate it. And you don't even need anyone to give you that feedback of, that was great, great work. If they give you that, wonderful. If they don't give you that, wonderful. It does not affect your work. But for me, this is the safety net, and this really is the protection. That way you can simply and cleanly just do your work. And why it's important is because this is the most sustainable way. The other option, you're gonna need to keep chasing. You're gonna need to keep manipulating to get this met. Hey, look at me. How did I do? Is it good enough? And now it's quite dangerous and it's quite scary. It's because you're putting the power outside. Versus, nope, let me create the most healthy, sustainable, I'm in control of this part. And only 2 steps. What is my intention? And did I do the best I can in this moment? And that's it. And I find it's the most healthy, most sustainable, and long lasting. Even practicing this where you make sure your intention's clear, then you check yourself, you did the best you can, but you still get attached. So what do I do? And I would say that this is normal. And that's why we just need to keep practicing and cultivate as a habit, cultivate as a lifestyle, and catch it quickly and start to recognize the patterns so we don't fall into that trap. And if you see yourself clinging or trying to get that praise, and you do, it's okay, but at least be aware of it and see, oh, I know what I just did. Oh, I know what just happened. And then the next time, with this awareness, I can start to change my action. But for me, it's not going to happen overnight, and it just needs consistent practice to keep catching yourself of, oh, I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. I'm searching for a validation. Oh yeah, it felt amazing. Own that, and it's okay, and it's normal. But then, as you keep catching yourself, as you keep practicing, you're gonna develop a wisdom. Then you're gonna start to reel yourself back in. With maturity, you're gonna pull yourself back in, and then you're gonna see, oh, okay, that's starting to get old, and that person's critique of my work, it doesn't have so much weight. And hopefully with the wisdom, you'll start to see of, oh, how did I do? Am I proud of my own work? Was I honest? Did I give my best? That weight will start to increase, and you will rely on it more. So if your praise and you're trying to cling to validation outside is this high, and your system and mechanism of praising yourself is this low, it's okay. Now, slowly shift. And that's called maturity and wisdom. And then one day, you're like, oh, wow. I don't need mommy. I'm grown. I can do this by myself. And now it's time for me to have an internal dialogue, an internal operating system that is sustainable. And it will shift. But in the process, just be very kind and non-judgmental, but keep observing and keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. And it takes time, so no problem. I think a journal prompt that can be helpful is to identify the details of, okay, you need validation and you need praise from the outside. Who do you need it from? You don't need it from everyone. Otherwise you'd be going around to strangers and everyone, but no, that's not accurate. But why is it that some people you need it from? Is it people with authority? Is it family members? Is it peers? And then dissect it even more of understanding of what kind of validation am I looking for? Is it just verbal, like you're doing a great job? Is it because it elevates your status? Because, wow, you are so special and unique and one of a kind? Or is it like what kind of quality praise do you need? And I think these kind of things, if you can dissect the motivation of what kind it is, who is from, why it is, then you'll start to understand. And with understanding comes that wisdom, and then it will, like I said, start to shift the balance where you will require less from outside and then your internal world and your internal mechanism will have more weight slowly. I think the last thing I can leave people with regarding validation is you can seek it outside, sure, that's one approach. But for me, I would say take a few of these things into account. Is one, it's not sustainable. You're gonna always need this, you're gonna always need the next person, you're gonna always need from the outside. That's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is we gotta be careful because by putting and shifting the attention and awareness and the energy to this space, you're actually taking the energy and the attention and the awareness to the work that you're supposed to be doing. So now you actually cheated yourself from the work. Remember the question of, did you do your best for writing this book? Did you do your best with this project? Did you do your best with this craft? Whatever this thing is, you just cheated it out of what it can potentially be. Because now you shifted where I'm writing for someone else. Now you shifted where 20% of my energy is I'm waiting for this person. Imagine if all that was gone. And imagine if you cultivated this safe space that says, let me be a professional. Let me put all my energy, my intention, my purity, my skill, my craft, and let me just do this. And let me learn from it. And let me grow from it. And let me use all of this to nurture me and fill me and validate me and keep me going. You're like the most sustainable, like engine system, clean fuel engine. You provide the fuel, you use the fuel, and it keeps going 100%. You're running the system, no outside interference. But for me is if you no longer need the validation, all your time and energy can come back to the thing that needs to be done in the first place. So come back to that, and what will be helpful is you have to see and make a choice how important is what's in front of you and what kind of quality do you want to make this thing in front of you. So if it's at 100%, then the mindset and the way of approaching is different. But if you're like 50%, I just need the praise, cool, do your thing. But it depends on what is your intention of doing this thing. Yeah, so how do I personally not attach to the validation? And for me is I try to use the wisdom. And the wisdom is that when you attach to praise, automatically you're going to be attached to blame. So I get very cautious about this because even making these kind of videos or being public, then people will shower you with affection and you change my life and it's great. How lucky is it that I get to provide wisdom that can help other people? But for me, it's just it is what it is. But I try not to attach to it because there's another side. And another side is there are some people who will say, you're so boring. I get comments where people say, you speak so slow. You are the most boring thing I've ever seen. I'm like, what? But it comes with you're not knowledgeable. You don't know this, you don't know that. You look this way, you don't present this way. I don't want that. So for me is then, what's the option? And the option is I take nothing. So if someone says, great job, cool, that was your experience, wonderful, it helped you. If someone it does not mesh with and they're actually like repulse by me, it has nothing to do with me. That is also your experience. So I just find, again, coming back to sustainability for my life is, why am I going to be on this yo-yo chasing one side of the stream? Did you like me? Was it good? Was it great? Yeah, because if someone said something that was hurtful or not helpful or critical, I'm gonna crumble like a leaf. And no, I don't have time. I don't have time to be a leaf. But it really is just come back to do your work. And I feel so honored and I feel so lucky where put all your energy and efforts, do and give what you know how to do at your best capacity. I'm not this expert, I'm not this scholar, I'm not any of these things, but as of today, as of this moment, with my awareness, with my maturity, with my perception, experience, learning, skills, I'm presenting this to you with my best intention. This is my work. Hopefully it serves you. If it serves you, take it. If it does not, it's okay. We'll see you later. That's how it works.